Now, your Fox 44 forecast first.
Good evening, everybody. Here we have a live look outside at the forecasted temperatures for the region. As you can see, we're still very warm outside. 89 degrees in Dallas, 91 in Waco, 97 in College Station. Still very warm outside. Make sure you stay hydrated, drink lots of water. Here's your forecast first. At midnight, we have 82 degrees, mostly clear. Then at 6 a.m., we cool down a little bit to 73 degrees. Then waking up the next morning, 77 degrees, mostly sunny. We have details on a cooling week coming up next week. Next chance for rain and Hurricane Lee. We have details on that. Fox 44 News starts right now.
Straight ahead on Fox 44 News, locals climb Jacob's Ladder at Cameron Park to honor and remember the fallen first responders from 9/11. And a devastating earthquake in Morocco has killed more than 1,000 people. Rescuers are still searching for survivors. Also, President Joe Biden arrives in India for the G20 summit. We'll tell you what to expect from the forum.
Live from Waco, Temple, and Killeen, your news now. This is Fox 44 News at 9.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on Fox 44 News at 9. I'm Hannah Hoover. Today, Waco remembers the tragic events of September 11th. Members of the Heart of Texas Marine Corps climbed Jacob's Ladder in Cameron Park for the 5th annual 9/11 stair climb. The event serves to honor and remember first responders who selflessly gave their lives, remembering 343 firefighters, 70 law enforcement officers, and 8 EMS workers who died at the World Trade Center in an attempt to save others. It is a physical climb. The group traveled up and down Jacob's Ladder 24 times, symbolizing the trek of heroes.
These steps are 88 steps, and believe me, these are some of the hardest steps. It's not a regular staircase. It's by no means OSHA certified type steps. There's some steps where you have to pick your knee up all the way to your waist and stuff. But, you know, the pain and the discomfort and getting up there brings into memory of what it took for those first responders to go up those stairs.
Remembering the tragic day and honoring those who died is what the climb is all about. Hernandez also hopes Americans will remember the day after September 11th and how the nation came together as a united front, caring for one another and moving forward as one great nation. Local communities will continue remembering the 22nd anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks on America with tributes planned on Monday. The Waco Fire Department's observance will start at 7:40 in the morning with all stations pulling their engines outside and the firefighters standing at attention in Class B uniforms. General alarms will play at 7:46 and 8:03 to signify when planes hit the Twin Towers in New York. Then at 9:37 and 10:03, announcements will be made over the radio to observe when planes crash into the Pentagon and a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. The terrorist attacks killed 2,977 people and injured thousands on September 11, 2001. You can find a full list of observances across Central Texas on fox44news.com. And on the national scale, after 2 decades in the making, the Perlman Performing Arts Center is finally arriving to Ground Zero. The center was first envisioned to add life and draw people to a place that has been synonymous with devastation and mourning. Officials from the Perlman Performing Arts Center say they wanted to make sure it remembered the victims respectfully. They said they faced a lot of challenges to make this possible, including financial roadblocks, occupants, and designs. But the center is expected to open its doors on September 19th, just a little over a week after the 22nd anniversary of 9/11. Switching gears, President Joe Biden has arrived in India for the G20 forum. Hannah Brandt shares what we can expect from the world's largest economies.
At this summit, President Biden will have the opportunity to assert U.S. economic leadership and counter China's growing global influence.
We hope this G20 summit will show that the world's major economies can work together even in challenging times.
President Biden's team says he hopes to emphasize U.S. efforts to reform the World Bank, which gives low and middle income countries loans for development and presents an alternative to direct financing from China.
We need to be able to provide high quality, more transparent, and more fair investment opportunity in low and middle income countries.
The Biden administration has already asked Congress to approve $3 billion for the World Bank.
For a modest investment from the point of view of the overall size of the U.S. budget to put into ensuring greater stability, greater prosperity, greater capacity, in the rest of the world.
Climate policy issues will also be a central focus of the summit.
Discussing opportunities for smoother transition to clean energy, as well as efforts to put in place stronger efforts to curb greenhouse gas emissions.
Underscoring all of the discussions will be Russia's war with Ukraine and the impact that that's had globally.
Russia's illegal war has had devastating social and economic consequences, and the poorest countries on the planet are bearing the brunt of that.
China's President Xi Jinping and Russia's President Vladimir Putin both plan to skip this summit, but they will be sending representatives. In Washington, I'm Hannah Brandt.
Speaking of Biden, what do Hunter Biden and former President Trump have in common? Their legal troubles never seem to end, and that could have a big impact on the next presidential race. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has more from Washington.
Hunter Biden could be indicted before the end of the month in a gun case. It's a stunning reversal from a deal that Hunter and federal prosecutors had previously reached. That agreement fell apart in July after a judge raised questions about it.
What changed? Not the facts, not the law, but we have seen over the last 6 weeks, the politics have certainly influenced the outcome.
Legal experts say an indictment would pose a problem not only for Hunter. The presentation of evidence could also be potentially risky for his father, President Biden, as he runs for re-election.
To the extent there's something being hidden here about this alleged sweetheart deal, it's going to be made public in a way that would not otherwise be.
Former President Trump, the GOP presidential primary frontrunner, is tackling his own set of troubles. In Colorado, a group of 6 Republican and unaffiliated voters filed a lawsuit to remove Trump from the ballot. They're accusing him of violating the Constitution by inciting a mob to attack the Capitol on January 6.
It's a very, very preposterous legal theory in terms of keeping Donald Trump off the ballot. We have to remember that Donald Trump has not been charged with any sort of insurrection or rebellion.
In Atlanta, Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger is pushing back on similar efforts to bar Trump from the ballot. Raffensperger writes in a Wall Street Journal op-ed, "The American people will make their own decisions."
Prosecutors in Georgia say the election interference trial against 19 defendants, including Trump, could take 4 months. But the judge says the timeline could easily be twice that. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Still ahead on Fox 44, the devastating earthquake in Morocco has killed more than 1,000 people, and rescuers are still searching for survivors.
You're watching Fox 44 News Weekend with PJ Hessner, Weather 8 certified meteorologist Xavier Cologne, and sports with Parker Reed.